Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Dawson Knox is out a minimum of 4 games as he is having wrist surgery, and that means that Dalton Kincaid is headed to the freaking moon. Moon. I would go as far as to say, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, but it feels like top 6 to 10 tight end numbers are in the cards. I mean, especially with how bleak the tight end position is in some ways in fantasy football week 8 moving on. I'm all about this man. You guys know he's been one of the show favorites all off season long. We've been waiting for him to explode. It's been taking a lot longer than we've wanted. We thought maybe week 4 or 5 he could take until that amount of time to break loose and become the tight end that we think he could become, the future potential top 3 tight end in fantasy as well. Dynasty wise, we get a real taste of what we're going to get in the coming years. But tonight you get to use this man. Tonight he needs to be in lineups unless you have an Andrews, Travis Kelce, a bunch of maybe questionable tight ends might be in your decision-making process right now. And really, I can't see more than 4 or 5, maybe 6 tight end options being better than Dalton Kincaid in this game, in this breakout game of his, where I think he could easily topple 12, 13, 14, 15 fantasy football points. I'm sensing a touchdown tonight. I'm sensing a Dalton Kincaid explosion. And I'm sensing a celebration party at the end of it all. And we're going to be here doing a standing ovation.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Dalton Kincaid, the Fantasy Football Show Breaking News Edition emergency live stream begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So I know a lot of people are going to probably say, Smitty, you're getting a little excited here about this kid, Dalton Kincaid. And let me pull up the FantasyFootballShow.com rankings, and let's take a look at the tight ends, and let's do an honest inventory and see what tight ends we might think are more valuable going forward. Obviously, Kelce. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson, if healthy. He's banged up right now. Laporta, Mark Andrews, probably Goddard. And then you could throw Kittle and Ingram and Waller, if he's healthy, in this conversation of 6, 7, 8, right? Ingram, Waller, Kittle. That is potentially somebody's 6, 7, 8 in any order. I think Dalton Kincaid is in that cup of coffee. I think he's at the seat. He's got a seat at that table. If you want to put Goddard and Andrews and Laporta and Hawkinson and Kelce above him, so be it. I'm fine with that. But we're talking about that level of a tight end option, 6, 7, 8 overall going forward. And Dawson Knox could be out more than 4 games. This is the report from that Ian Rappaport retweeted when it said that Sean McDermott said it was unclear how long Bills tight end Dawson Knox would be out. When Sean McDermott said this, the thought was at the time, this was not just today, this is before, when we were kind of waiting on whether this was going to unfold into a IR situation, a 4-game situation. We were kind of all, not that anybody's wishing injury upon anybody. I want to make sure that's abundantly clear here. We wish Dawson Knox health and fast recovery. But when you're in limbo in fantasy, you're like, okay, how long is it? Okay, Dawson Knox having surgery. Is it something where he could come back in a week or 2? We've seen people have surgery before on a wrist or a hand, and they're literally back with a cast or something on in 2 weeks. And so fantasy worlds we've been sitting on pins and needles wondering, how long is it? Let us know what the diagnosis is. How many games is he going to miss? And when a player usually isn't put on IR right away, the indication is that they're probably, the team and the player are hopeful that they won't miss the 4 games, because if you put a player on IR and they got to sit out the required 4 games, at least 4 games, then you know that the team's thinking this could be 2, this could be 3, it's not going to be 4. We're gonna wait. And sometimes teams wait. They have surgery. In the case of Knox, they're waiting to find out the extent of the injury. And then they make the determination after. Khalil Herbert had the high ankle sprain. They didn't come out and put him on IR right away. Kyron Williams injured his ankle, high ankle sprain. They said it could have been not as severe as it could have been. Things could be 1 to 2 games in terms of his absence, and then all of a sudden they waited a while, IR, out 4 games. So waiting doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome's going to be great. Sometimes the waiting is to determine, what they fear is going to be the situation. In this case, here's what it says again. When John McDermott said it was unclear how long Bills tight end Dawson Knox would be out, the thought was he might be back in under a 4-week period of time. Post-surgery, meaning he already had surgery, it was determined IR and 4 weeks at least was the smart route to go. At least 4 weeks. That is what's being reported right now on Twitter from Ian Rappaport, retweeting a different report, I think from ESPN. So this is telling us right now that the surgery has taken place because they waited until the surgery, because sometimes they got to go in and see what's what. A lot of times when you go into a knee and you think, okay, the meniscus tear is maybe minor, you get into the knee, and even though Dawson Knox didn't have a knee injury, I'm just trying to explain surgery. You get into the knee and you realize that this meniscus is a lot more torn than you thought, or there's some other damage done. You tear a ligament. Sometimes you think, based on imaging, you can find out what the extent of the injury is, but you don't fully know until you go in. That's what they say. You go in under the knife, you find out, you lift the hood up, find out what's going on, and then you can make a better determination. They obviously needed to go into his wrist. They went in post-surgery, figured this is not something that he should be toying around with, put him on IR, and the words are very specific here. At least 4 weeks. That means, again, not trying to celebrate an injury or anything, but that means we get a taste of this man for 4 weeks or more. And I think maybe he doesn't take the job fully from Knox, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to get versed and matured and brought along quickly and fast-tracked, much like other players do sometimes when they're shoved into situations where they might not normally deliver elite production as a rookie or a young player. But look at Laporta thrown to the wolves, feet to the fire, learns on the job, make mistakes, but you're going to end up tripping and falling into touchdowns, because both the Detroit Lions situation and especially the Buffalo Bills situation is just saturated in potential production, just waiting to be handed, gift wrapped and handed to Kincaid. He can trip and fall, mess up, and score touchdowns on the regular. This guy could probably, from here on out, if he does continue, if he matures enough that he grabs a hold of a kung fu grip of the production and target share, even when Knox is ready to come back, let's say he comes back in 5 weeks, misses 4 or 5 weeks for sure, right? And comes back, let's say after missing 5 full weeks, and they're like, okay, they start blocking tight end. This is a guy that we definitely need back in certain situations. Doesn't mean Kincaid won't have matured so quickly that he is now Josh Allen's third trusted receiving target, from the 20 to the 20. And Knox will definitely be used near the goal line still. No one's saying he's the only goal line option, but he'll be matured along far enough that Knox coming back won't be as big of a threat at all. Knox will get his work. Josh Allen and the Bills will throw enough that everybody gets to eat. And this man only needs 4 or 5 receptions, 65 yards, 75 yards, sometimes a 5-6 reception game for 95 yards and a strong shot at a touchdown. This is what Kincaid brings to the table moving forward. There's no guarantees in fantasy. There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantee that he's going to be a top 6 to 10 tight end going forward. I can't promise you that. I can only tell you that my assessment in the offseason, as we've talked about this guy over and over and over and over, has been that he has the potential to be one of, if not the best tight end in the NFL in the future. If you couple the pre-NFL draft analysis we did, the scouting, the skill assessment, mixed with his best and most glorious landing spot in Buffalo, is better than Laporta's, better than Musgrave's, better than any other tight end that could really enter the NFL. He has been handed, gift wrapped, the best situation a tight end could walk into. A high-octane offense led by a gunslinger named Josh Allen with so much ability to feed everybody. There's no like limitation to the amount of volume he can get. I venture to say, even with Knox back blocking and getting some goal line looks, that under the command of Josh Allen, if things are moving smoothly and they start throwing downfield, and this could open up the offense too. Like Dawson Knox is good. He's great around the goal line. He blocks really well. But this guy might give this vertical passing attack a big boost and a big injection. And you're going to end up seeing them throw a lot more. Josh Allen's going to have a lot more potential yardage and a lot more touchdown opportunities. They're going to potentially be near the goal line more, in the red zone a little more, just because now they have a maturing, getting better, getting versed, and being a threat to defenses pass catching option that isn't really on the table to the full extent right now. He's not fully unlocked, so the threat isn't there, the production isn't there, and the defensive attention isn't there. It's going to all unlock, and it's going to be kind of sped along here, right? Because he's going to get injected in and start learning on the job. Nothing's guaranteed. Again, you can't guarantee anything, but I just have a sense that the offense is going to transform just a little bit in a positive, potent vertical direction, and it's going to be because of this man right here. I don't see any reason why this is week number 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 10 games. I see no reason why this man can't pull in even 7, 8, 9 touchdowns. If everything goes perfectly, I'm not saying that's the guarantee or the lock. 10 touchdowns is even possible. I'm not saying that's a lock. I'm not saying that should be your expectation level, but is it possible? Yeah. If everything falls in line perfectly, this is a guy that could have a 2-3 TD game here. Then, no touchdown, a touchdown, no touchdown, a touchdown, 2 TDs, no touchdown, 1 TD. And at the end of the day, it's like he's tripping and falling in this potent offense, maturing as he goes. Falls into let's just call it a 7 to 8 touchdown season from this point through week 17. And yardage, that'll be up and down because he is a rookie. But like Laporta, all it takes is him and Laporta and Musgrave. They're a special breed of tight end. This is one of the best tight end classes that we've ever seen. And all three of them, you could even say Musgrave, are in good opportunities, good situations. Musgrave is probably not in the best one of the three, but I think Laporta's in the second best spot, and he quietly has been hibernating in the best spot. We're just kind of forgetting it because we're not seeing what we've wanted to see. So it's not on the forefront of our mind that, he is in the best spot. Maybe he's not, right? No, he is. He is. And there's a reason we made this animation and played it all off season long. Dalton Kincaid to the moon. Fire him up. Fire him up tonight in the Thursday night battle. Fire up Dalton Kincaid. And we'll see you at the 8 p.m. show. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever news breaks like this show right here. And also live almost every night on the Graveyard show. I'll see you all later. Get out of here.